Kicking off the final day of the Red River Farm Network Crop Tour presented by Pioneer, we are talking with Dennis and Sean McCoy here at McCoy Pioneer Seeds. Tell us what's going on in the field here, crop conditions, just to get us started.
Well, things are looking pretty good. We've been exceptionally dry the last 8 weeks, pretty spotty, but here in general we've missed a lot of important rains the last couple weeks, but overall it could be a lot worse.
And so let's talk about the crop conditions themselves. What do soybeans look like right now?
Some are turning and some are grass green. It kind of depends on the ground that they're on, depends on where the clouds were. We've got a field that's had half inch or an inch more rain on one side and the other side it hasn't, and that changes things a lot, variety maturity and but basically it really comes down to where those clouds are coming the last 3-4 weeks.
So how far out are we thinking harvest is? Is there harvest happening around here for other crops too?
Wheat harvest is going full bore here. Things look good and a little better than expected, surprisingly somehow. But soybeans, there's fields that are turning that I think probably 5 or 6 days are not going to have any leaves on them with this heat coming. So that's pretty crazy. This is pretty early for that. So, the combine will tell all on the yields on those, but it's going to be spread out here the way it looks, but things are coming quick.
And when did things get in the field then? Were things planted on time or was it a little bit later?
It was another interesting spring, but once it got nice, it stayed nice, and that was a huge deal. We're really lucky that we were so dry last fall. We hardly had any frost this spring, and we had a lot less runoff. And without that runoff, we were able to get our crops growing and the roots developed, and we didn't rely on quick early rains right after planting because of that. So that carried us through a lot of the summer, and then, if the rain shut off for you, then that's when you started to get hurt. But that subsoil was really important this spring.
So now let's talk about this plot that's behind us here. What is unique about this lineup that you've got?
Every year I try to put in some of the biggest competitors that we run up against. This particular plot has 3 different technologies in it: Enlist, Extend Flex, and then just the basic Extend. Some of our old favorite beans that we're phasing out of are still in here. So I try to do the best job I can to compare what we're up against and get a good spot so everything's fair.
And what are we seeing here right now as far as differences? What are you excited about?
We're excited about our new Enlist lineup, of course. Every year they come out with something new, and it's always exceeding expectations of what we had before with this new A series. Pioneer's coming out with a new series this fall. We don't know anything about it. It's supposed to be exceptionally above what is being provided with the A series already, which is awesome. So we're excited for that. But this 06 A85, 06 A38, and the 04 A98. 2 06s and an 04, those are our biggest sellers. They're meeting and exceeding what we've seen in our best Extend platform that we've had for a long time. So we're really excited for that.
Now let's talk about your agency a little bit here. You guys are kind of celebrating a bit of a milestone this year. Dennis, tell us about that.
40 years ago, in October of 1983, I was approached by Pioneer to sell wheat seed. And of course, as you know, we're not selling hard red spring wheat anymore, but we sell a lot of other things. And it's gone well. Things have changed. A lot of customers come and gone. Wonderful people to work with, wonderful area to be in. But it's extremely exciting to see what the company is offering now in new products for the coming years.
And I'm sure excited for getting ready for 24 already.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's this. We know how it works. You have to plan ahead about a year ahead to really get what you want. And the supplies are always tight in the newest things and the best things. And these 2 soybeans just took one of the top spots in the trial for iron chlorosis, and that'll be another factor in this area, especially again next year. So we're trying to get customers to start thinking about that, and they're used to it.
Now, some of the things that we need to keep in mind as we get into harvest, it's been a bit of a challenging growing season here, moisture-wise, heat-wise. What are some things that people should be thinking about as they get in the field this fall?
I think harvestability of your crops, corn and specifically soybeans too. We've had firing up and down the plant on some of our corn fields for like 3, 4, 5 weeks in some spots, which is kind of normal in the hilltops, but even the good areas are starting to show that. But if you caught some decent rains here these last couple of weeks, a little more than 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/2 inch or 1 inch even, that really helped those plants hold on. So going into corn harvest here this fall, you're going to be trying to focus on your fields that started maturing the quickest, of course, which is normal. But what to expect is you could see cob drop, you could see standability issues if the plants have been cannibalizing those stalks all summer, like I just explained. But that's not a guarantee that that's going to happen, but it is definitely something to put a number one priority when you start harvest. And then soybeans this time of year is obviously pod fill, and the size of the seed of the beans is directly correlated with yield. So, I mean, this time of year, if you miss those rains the last couple of weeks, it's kind of do or die. Depending, you're just relying on what you've got in the soil. And around here, there's not much. Depends on your soil type. So, beans could surprise everybody. It's going to be really hit and miss. So at harvest time, the best thing you can do is pay attention and remember what fields caught rains and when. That's going to tell you your answer of why something did better than something else.
And in a dry year like this, it's always important to remember that there are going to be good bad spots and bad spots. And if you're making comparisons, you have to think about where they came out of the field. It's a good year to have your yield monitor calibrated and look at the data this winter and really analyze why did they do what they did.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for the information and for letting us come out here and look at things and get in the field. Again, Dennis and Sean McCoy Pioneer Seed, joining us here for the Red River Farm Network Crop Tour presented by Pioneer.